Yes, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Stephen Howson. 5 things that we learned watching United win, but somehow lose in Sociedad. Number 1, Garnacho shining light. Alejandro Garnacho, 18 years, 125 days, becomes the youngest non-English goal scorer in Europe for Manchester United. It was a record held by Steve. A young fella called by the name of Georgie Best. You might have heard of him. He was decent, it has to be said. Brilliant pace, excellent finish, direct, brave. This is what we should be talking about following a European victory. But we're not going to really talk about it all that much, unfortunately. This is what we were talking about. All season we've been kind of saying, like, when we've been lacking something in games, just throw the kids in. How do you know they're going to be ready? Well, he got a chance last week. He looked good. He gets given another chance tonight and he scores. The youngsters don't let you down. Not at least in their first 6 months. They let you down later down the line if they're going to let you down. But in their first 6 months, they're so ready for it. They're so up for it. Now, I think Garnacho's probably not going to be one that lets us down long term. I think he's a real talent. I think he's got a real energy and vibe about him. And I think he's probably going to go and do an absolute madness in his career. Hopefully he signs a deal. Hopefully he becomes a long-term thing. And while we've got potential injury issue with Anthony on the right-hand side, Marcus looks like he's vying down the middle with Ronaldo to play as a number 9. And you've got Sancho out of form at the moment. That left wing spot's yours, mate. Take it. This is how you end up with a career. No one is given a spot. You go in there like a thief in the night and you steal it from underneath their noses. That's how you do it. Got to be ruthless. Number 2, Ten Hag's tactical gamble. Now, we spoke about this last night. 3-3-3-1 or 3-3-1-3. Straight out of the book of Marcelo Bielsa. However, upon closer inspection, it could also have been Cruyff's 3-4-3 or occasionally known as the Cruyff Diamond, 3-Diamond-3, which is a mad formation. But it was what Cruyff, I don't know if he invented it or if he popularized it, but it's a bit of Cruyff's work. That's the good. The bad is it didn't really seem to work. We actually lost control. That could have been more with Casemiro coming out of the centre than anything else, but it didn't seem to work. It was a little bit all over the place. And to me, it seemed like the players didn't know it. Whether we just had a conversation about it at half time and was like, yeah, fuck it, let's see if it worked. Maybe that was all we did. But honestly, it didn't work. Now, I'm not discouraging Ten Hag from trying things here to see if they do work. I would always encourage a manager to try and do that sort of stuff. A little bit trial and error. This one didn't pay off. Maybe keep it in the bank. Maybe keep working on it and have it as a secondary formation because there was definitely a reason why he tried it. Now, the other thing is, we still won the game. We didn't get the second goal that we needed to be able to progress as winners of the group. We did still win the game. Unless we replay the game again, keep it as a 4-3 or 4-2-3-1 even, and then there go on and lose the game 3-1 from that point, how would you know if it actually worked or didn't work? I think the only thing we can say is it didn't look like it had the sort of control that we've seen United exhibit throughout the latter part of the last few weeks or so. That control wasn't there. And for me, I think the reason behind that is we didn't know it. And that's it. We just didn't know the formation. Number 3, Donny's chance. I feel like I've been here through multiple managers saying this, but he didn't take his chance. Is the jury still out, or is it now adjourned and have a unanimous decision from every single one of the jurors? He was absolutely anonymous. There was no dynamism. There was just nothing. The game looked a bit too quick for him, and some people are going to say, look, he's been out of the game for how long? Yeah, he's not played. Neither's Garnacho. He did not take his chance. And this is a guy that knows him, has kept him on the bench. Yes, there's been an injury, but he just hasn't impressed. I don't know what you do with him. Maybe he's a suitable backup player if there's injuries, but is he ever then going to be ready if he's only coming off the bench and getting minutes here and there? He didn't look good. Number 4, the positives. Garnacho's goal and performance, absolute positive. David De Gea was tested in a big way and was up to that test. His form continues. Martinez, immense yet again. Unlucky to be booked. Unbeaten now in 9 matches. 6 clean sheets in the last 7 games. That's a trait. That's definitely a massive positive. You've still got Martial, Anthony, and Sancho to return to the team. Massive positives. And finally, playoffs. United's possible opponents in the playoffs are Ajax, Bayer Leverkusen, Barcelona, Sporting, RB Salzburg, Shakhtar Donetsk, Sevilla, and Juventus. The draw is on Monday. United in for a tough ask. No matter who it is that we get, United are going to be in for a tough old ask. And it all boils down to we didn't take our chances over the course of the group, but we didn't take our chances in that first game. Yes, we were probably still adapting to Ten Hag's ways, and the control that we've exhibited since then wasn't quite there in that game. But it was a bullshit penalty decision that we're sitting here weeks later still talking about because it was so bad. So bad. Yet here we are discussing a bullshit penalty decision because the group was literally won and lost on a bullshit penalty decision weeks and weeks and weeks ago. And do you know what? The referee last night wasn't much better. And you can't necessarily blame the referees. There was opportunities, but it frustrates, doesn't it? Because you're like, United have been good. You win 5 out of 6 games. You shouldn't have lost the one that you did lose. And then you end up with an extra game, an extra tie. And that's the problem with Europa League. It's a hard competition to like. It doesn't really grab you and make you feel all warm and safe. And I said this to Joe yesterday on the review that I did on Stretford Paddock. Europa League feels long. And look at the clubs that we're linked with. And obviously the clubs that we're going to play are literally Champions League clubs. Look at the places that we're going to. Spain, Holland, Italy. When you think Europa League, you think Eastern Europe. You think these gaffs, don't you? But we're not actually going to them gaffs. But it's got the vibe of those gaffs. I don't know why. And we have, I think, played Sociedad. I think we played Sociedad. I feel like we played Sociedad. In the actual Champions League, we've certainly played most of these people that we're likely to line up against in the next round in the Champions League. We're playing Champions League teams in a Thursday night competition. I know a lot of people are really keen to win this. I think winning it is very, very giddy because there's such a pressure and luck. As we've just shown, there's so much luck required. One slip. One bullshit penalty call, kaput. You lose the whole thing. Now, I know that can happen in the league, but generally, over the course of a season, 38 games, those sort of mistakes do tend to even out. In a 2-legged tie, sometimes that's enough to see you off. You need so much luck to get through and have people available at the right times to be able to see you through in a cup competition. That gambling on a cup competition is a fucking nightmare. It's a nightmare. And that's why I prefer just solid form in the league. Because that's where you're really at. It doesn't boil down to luck and availabilities and stuff. But yeah, I should feel happier because it was a win and it was a good win. It was a good first half performance and there were a lot of positives. But we didn't achieve the result we set out to achieve, which is a 2-0 win and top the group. So it feels like a loss. Like I said, we could have lost this game 15-0. And we'd have been in the exact same predicament as winning it 1-0. In a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.